Hi everyone and welcome back to another edition of French Fridays. In today's edition, I want to talk about 3 grammatical rules that are super important. The first one is how do you make a word plural? The plural of words that end in al, as in journal, which means newspaper, will be aux. So journal becomes journaux. Now for words that end in au, the plural will just need to add an X at the end of that word. For example, bateau, bateau. Now for words that end in S, Z, or X, they typically don't change in the plural form. For example, virus, which means virus, stays the same when it is plural. Un virus, des virus. Now for everything else, pretty much, as a general rule, you simply add an S as you would in English. For example, fleur, flower, the plural would be fleur, flowers. Moving on to the second grammatical rule I want to talk about, and that would be adjectives. So I want to talk about adjectives. Adjectives will have to match the noun that they're qualifying. So if the noun is masculine, your adjective will be masculine. If the noun is feminine, your adjective will be feminine. And if it's masculine plural, it will be masculine. You get my drift. Let's do some examples. Let's practice. Let's use joli, which means pretty. Example, un joli panier, a pretty basket. Une jolie fleur, a pretty flower. Notice how you add an E when you're talking about the flower, because flower is feminine. Now, if you do that in the plural, then it would be de jolis paniers, de jolies fleurs. Easy, right? Awesome. Moving on to our third and last topic of today, and that one is a little trickier. And I had announced it before that we were going to talk about this. I am talking about reflexive verbs. And one of the ones that everybody knows is s'appeler, which you guys know because you've learned how to say je m'appelle so and so. So s'appeler is a reflexive verb. You know it's a reflexive verb because it has that S apostrophe in front of it. So reflexive verbs typically have that se something or S apostrophe something. That's how you distinguish them. A reflexive verb is one used to describe something that you do to yourself. And you will find a lot of them when you're describing your morning routine, for example. Okay? So, se lever. Se lever means to get up, but it means to get yourself up. So another one is se laver, which is to wash yourself. Se brosser les dents, to brush your teeth. S'habiller, to get dressed. How do reflexive verbs work? A normal verb, you would just have your pronoun, je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle, and then you would have the verb. Example, je marche, je mange, whatever it is. When it's a reflexive verb, you're going to add something between the pronoun and the verb, and that is the reflexive pronoun. Now you're going to have to memorize those so you can do that easily with your eyes closed. So let's go ahead and go through that. For je, the reflexive pronoun is me. Remember that if your verb starts with a vowel, you would just have an apostrophe, so M apostrophe instead of M-E. All right, so je, me, tu, te, il ou elle, se, nous, nous, vous, vous, il ou elle, se. What does that look like? Je me lève, tu te lèves, il se lève, nous nous levons, vous vous levez, il se lève. That was to get up. Okay? Je me lave, tu te laves, il se lave, nous nous lavons, vous vous lavez, il se lave. And you would do the same with s'appeler, which is the most popular one of the reflexive verbs. Je m'appelle, tu t'appelles, il s'appelle, nous nous appelons, vous vous appelez, il s'appelle. So yes, I know it kind of sound weird because sometimes you're repeating the same pronoun twice, as in nous lavons, we are washing ourselves, but it's a very typical French grammar rule, and the more you practice and the more it will come naturally and feel less weird. Okay guys, that was it for today. I'm super excited to share those tips with you. I hope they're helpful, and I hope you are practicing them in your spare time so that you can be fluent eventually. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions or feedback, and if you have any suggestions for the next topics or for the next videos. Please let me know. I look forward to reading them. And I will see you next Friday. À bientôt!